Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Theme Park News. And in today's episode, the Epcot Food and Wine Festival is officially started. Fantasmic will not be returning throughout the rest of this year. Unfortunately, there was a fatality at the Contemporary Resort the other day. And at the Fury 325 roller coaster that was cracked, did investigators find a second crack on that roller coaster? All of these stories are going to be in today's episode of Theme Park News. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the video today. I've got 4 theme park news stories to go over today, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right on into these stories. All right, our first news story comes from Epcot in Orlando. The Food and Wine Festival has officially started. This started on July 27th, so just a couple of days ago, or actually yesterday from actually recording this, but a couple days from posting this. The Food and Wine Festival now is in effect. That runs from, like I said, the 27th when it started all the way till November 18th. That's 114 days to get your food and drink on at Epcot Center. You got plenty of time to go. There are going to be 25 global marketplaces where you can get various food and drink, and then apparently they're going to be adding 6 more a little bit later on. So there's definitely plenty of things to go try out food and drink wise. I'm not going to go try even attempt to go over a whole list of everything they're going to have on there. That's just something, if you're interested, you're going to have to look up. Otherwise, this video will be like 30 minutes long. But yeah, that's definitely going on right now. Like I said, Epcot Food and Wine Festival. So if you want to check that out, like I said, that is going to be running all the way up until November 18th. So make sure you head over there and check out some of the interesting food and drink choices from around the world. All right, and if you saw the news from back in April when the Fantasmic, show had a little bit of a miscue where a fire started. Apparently, people were hoping that would be not out too long. It was going to be started back up soon. Well, apparently that is going to be closed for the rest of 2023. It was announced from Disney that they will not be bringing back Fantasmic at Disneyland until the spring of 2024. Apparently, the dragon that had the little fire mishap or the shot out the fire is not going to be brought back. They're going to replace that with something else. I can't remember exactly what they said on there, but it'll be, I'm sure, some cool pyrotechnic display. It just won't be the dragon with the fire. Apparently, I don't know why. Maybe they thought that was just left a bad taste in some people's mouths, children especially. I'm sure if they saw that, probably a little upset by that. But yeah, if you're looking forward to Fantasmic, that will be in fact closed down until spring of 2024 when they hopefully will revive the show with just some minor changes to the dragon and then whatever they decide to put in its place. All right, before I continue, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, let me go ahead and invite you to subscribe. I post theme park news videos every other day, followed by cruise news videos in the opposite days, on top of vlogging all of our adventures. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're liking this video so far, hit that like button on here. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's news stories. So let's go ahead and get right back on into it. All right, and in a bit of sad news, unfortunately, there was a death at the Contemporary Resort the other day. This actually took place as kind of part of it, the Bay Lake Resort, that's kind of in that same area. Apparently, a guest, this happened on July 26th, either fell or jumped off of the Bay Lake Resort. That person was killed. Apparently, some of the guests were told, this happened early morning, I believe. Some of the guests were told that there was a medical emergency and not to go out on their balconies. I'm sure so they would not see the sight of what had happened down there. Another guest reported that the 5th floor bridge that goes from the Bay Lake Resort to the Contemporary was closed at the time, so it probably kind of happened around that area. Then another guest apparently reported that there was a tent kind of set up in a certain area over there, probably over top of the area that it happened, to kind of shield that from everybody's view. Unfortunately, these things kind of, I mean, they don't happen often, but every once in a while they will happen. It is a sad situation when somebody either accidentally or intentionally falls off that. It's definitely a tragic event. But yeah, that did happen at the Contemporary Resort. Everything is back open and back to normal as far as the bridge and everything like that, but definitely a sad situation there. All right, and in our final news story of the day, if you've seen any of my previous videos or the news, you know about the Carowinds, the crack on the Fury 325, where they had to replace that support beam on there that was cracked. They went ahead and were able to get that in, and pretty quickly, I might add. And investigators had been doing that. They had been running the coaster because they needed to do it, I believe 500 times was the minimum. The part of the North Carolina Department of Labor was supposed to go in and investigate, or to kind of check everything over. There's been a kind of bit of a delay on that. Well, apparently a news station, I don't know, I believe it's from the area, it was a Channel 9 news station, put out a story that there may indeed actually be a second crack that was found on the Fury 325 roller coaster. They were asked, both the North Carolina Department of Labor and Carowinds, about this. Kind of got some different responses. When they asked the Department of Labor about whether or not a second crack was indeed found, the Department of Labor said the investigation was ongoing and just kind of referred the reporter back to Carowinds, so they wouldn't really say anything on that. Apparently the reporter then asked if the ongoing investigation does in fact include a second crack. They kind of just repeated themselves, sent them back to Carowinds to kind of ask about that. When they did, Carowinds put out a statement. That statement says, "It is not uncommon during full maintenance review to discover slight weld indications in various locations of a steel superstructure." That kind of makes it sound like maybe they found something else. When the reporter then asked Carowinds, after the statement came out, whether in fact a second crack was found on the coaster, Carowinds just basically referred the reporter back to their statement. So that was kind of their final word on it. But like I said, it says it's not uncommon during full maintenance review to discover slight weld indications. I'm not an engineer. I don't know what, at least not a mechanical engineer. Computers is a different story. Slight weld indications in various locations of a steel superstructure. Kind of sounds like maybe they found something else, but they really don't. I'm sure they don't want to, strike fear in people to never come back to it. So I guess that's one of those things we'll have to see. I think a lot of people thought the process was going to go a little bit quicker, but this is why I had mentioned in previous videos, better to be safe than sorry. If it's going to take a little bit longer to make sure everything is running properly, then that's a good thing. And it kind of sounds like going this little bit slower route is a good thing, because it's possible they found yet another crack, or whatever this means that they had in their statement on there. So kind of like a non-answer, but maybe an answer on this. Maybe they did find, they obviously apparently found something. Whether you want to classify it as another crack or a weld indication or whatever it is, something else was found that probably needs to be looked at. Whether or not that's going to require replacing more beams where it was, not really sure, but obviously I'm sure that kind of will come out if it takes, this process goes a little bit longer. Obviously there's a lot of eyes watching this kind of thing. So if I do get any more updates on that, I will make sure to definitely let you know about it. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for today's episode of Theme Park News. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's news stories. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.